Yep, Colton, that is not road legal.
Drifts and lifts, Volvo Drift Ale.
This is a VI magnet right here. Miss Huff is what he calls it. Wow, that is literally on the ground.
Hello, my friends.
What's going on, bro?
How you guys doing?
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Nice shirt.
Grayson, how's it going, man?
Into the infinite. Into the infinite. Into the infinite. Into the infinite. Rising down your price. Tie and nose around my eyes. Make you blend and roll ties as you make yourself rise. And we use and you're my eyes to baptize. Say my name twice. We can't run out of time. Into the infinite. Into the infinite. Into the infinite. Into the I'm alive and you're my vice. I surrender.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the show. We've got a very special guest for you guys. You might remember Colton, my man. What's
Hey,
going on?
Marcus.
Good, how are you doing?
Good, man. I'm awesome.
It's been a few years since we filmed your other car. What was that car called?
It's a Volvo 940 back then.
940.
Yeah, that
it was
thing's
a swed sled?
The Swed sled, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit more vibrant this time, a little bit more mods. Not as much power, to be honest, but
Right.
you know, yeah.
First off, Colton's gonna drift it around, and you guys are gonna see Colton drift.
Oh yeah.
And then
We'll do
hopefully,
some.
if you're kind enough, you can toss me the keys.
I'll definitely do that. Yeah.
Stoked. All right, show me around the car a little bit. What's going on
All right,
here?
man. So this is my 1990 Volvo 740. I'll tell you a bit kind of how it started. I actually bought this car, believe it or not, as a winter beater. That's like was the original plan for
Right.
it. And then so its name is Miss Huff, by the way, guys. So if you look on the hood here, it already came with a sticker that said Miss Huff.
And you just named it after
So
that?
I just like, oh, the car's already been named, so you know you can't change the name once it's been named.
No, of course not.
So it actually was a pretty interesting kind of car. It had like the interior was all done with some red, some sort of stitching and stuff on the seats, kind of un-Volvo like. And the car came with a big box of old tapes, like Van Halen and the Eagles and stuff.
Nice.
So I'm assuming the lady named Miss Huff that owned this car before me was like pretty cool, like teacher lady or something.
Right.
Yeah, so the car was a little interesting. It was a non-turbo 5-speed model, and in 1990 those are pretty rare. They're kind of hard to find. I picked it up for $700, which you know is pretty cheap. That's usually what I get the Volvos for. And then yeah, so I got into it. It's supposed to be a winter beater. I started drifting on gravel roads and stuff, just kind of, you know, budget stuff. And then I put a cam in it. I lowered it on coilovers. My friend Chris actually gave me coilovers at some drift event. He's like, here's my old coils, you can have them. So that's kind of the start of it. And then I put the cam in it, and then it just started to go from there. And the plan was not to build this car as much as I got into it at this point, but it kind of just went like that. So well, there's a bee coming after me.
We had a barbecue in Saint-Tropez in May with some friends drinking booze, getting all loose. We drove the cars to the beach on the outside of the street, sat around a bonfire, eating marshmallows all night. We were young at the time, I know it, but you were so damn fine.
well,
Couldn't
this is
get
the
you
door.
on my mind. We were young
God damn, we
at
get
the
rabies.
time, I know it.
Yeah, AIDS, rabies,
Just like everything.
All right, Marcus, want to go for a ride in this thing?
Dude, this is wicked. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this, man.
I don't know either, to be honest. Start this thing up.
Let's do it. Yeah, so you guys, the exhaust is dumping like right down there.
Yeah, pretty much right there.
flew out of this window here, man.
I don't know what's going on with the steering. Something's fucking the rack, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Something's pretty weird with it.
Yeah, when you gotta work, so it's like banging off the rev limiter.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Not bad, man.
That's all good.
It popped out. Man, this thing just wants you dead. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Good. Well, shit, I'm sorry about your window here,
No,
man.
that's okay, dude. This was screwed into rubbers. Yeah, so here, I'll pop the hood and show you guys a little bit
Absolutely.
under here.
So was the idea from the get-go just to keep it all NA?
It was, yeah, the idea was
Yeah.
to keep it NA and just like a really budget, simple car, you know, like it really wasn't supposed to be much. It still isn't really that much, to be honest, but
Well, hey, this is like, if there was ever a beater drift Volvo, this is pretty much what you guys should strive for.
yeah, but you know.
You know? If you want, like you were explaining, when you started the car up, it's got that lumpy idle that you automatically know. You're like, oh, this needs to be way up in the power
Way
band.
up in the RPMs,
Exactly,
yeah.
which is a lot of fun.
That's right. So we started out with this car. It had a weird ECU issue that gave it like, it was actually like stalling out when you revved it. So my good friend Dan at Post Haste Performance, he's been with me kind of through the whole build. He was like, just go to a standalone. It'll probably take out all the wiring. We'll do a new wiring harness and we'll be able to tune this properly, actually get the cam matched to, you know, everything else and the injectors and that kind of thing. So the first setup we had was the stock head with a header. This is like an aftermarket KL racing header from Sweden. And then we had a cam, then we did the standalone. The first setup, I guess I should mention the first time we had on the dyno with no mods at all, it made 95 wheel horsepower. Yeah, so it was 95 wheel horsepower and 113 foot-pounds. So we did the cam and the standalone and the header, that bumped it up to 125 wheel and 140 foot-pounds. That was fun for a while. Like, we're not talking big numbers by any means, you know, we're just talking budget drift Volvo kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, you know, I was like, okay, I got a little bit into it and I was like, I wonder how much power you could actually make out of a non-turbo 8-valve Volvo motor. So I kind of, you know, I surfed the web a bit, and a good buddy of mine, Dennis Blom from Sweden, I knew that he built these motors, and I started talking to him. And he's like, man, I bet you can make about over 160 wheel horsepower with this thing if I gave you a ported head and all that kind of stuff, right? So I ended up doing that, and my good friend Dennis, here's a picture of him right here.
Oh yeah.
He's the doctor. Yeah, the doctor approves. So Dennis sourced me a Volvo 531 head. So these heads are essentially an 8-valve head, just like the factory head. The factory head is a 530 head. The difference between this is the intake port design is a lot different and it flows better. If you're gonna build a head, this is the better one to start with. So these didn't come in Canada or the United States in a car. They only came in a boat motor, a Volvo Penta.
Penta, yeah.
Yeah, so, but in Europe, you can actually get these in cars. So that's where he sourced it from. So Dennis did full exhaust porting and intake porting. We didn't do bigger valves because the price was already getting a little high, and I was like, it should make enough power. It should be fine or whatever. They shaved 2.5 millimeters off the bottom of the head, so it's higher compression. It's got something called a TMOS 1310 cam, so that's the cam that we went with. The cam specs are 302 degrees of duration and 13 millimeters of lift. So if you guys know cam specs, it's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
It's not a small cam. The lobes on it compared to the stock one were like this big.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a lot different. For you guys who have seen the video we shot in 2016, the idea and philosophy between these builds are so different, because like going this route and going the old school hot rodding, like getting the cams, doing the port and polish
Exactly,
and stuff,
yeah,
versus
yeah.
hey, you can get a stock turbo engine,
and throw
get a
bigger
boost
turbo on it.
controller,
Exactly, yeah.
and, which is good.
That's totally cool,
But,
and that's
you know.
actually way easier to make power, and it's a better torque curve, and it's a better idea.
Yeah,
But I thought this would be kind of cool to do an NA sort of build. I was just really curious how much power we could squeak out of this motor.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the whole setup, this head, this cam, I put a big injector. So these injectors are from like a S70 turbo Volvo. So they're 350 cc, nothing too crazy, but quite a bit bigger than the NA injectors that came stock. Yeah, so it ended up making 171 wheel horsepower, 155 foot-pounds. So decent torque. The torque definitely, you get it higher up in the RPM, like Mark is saying here. And yeah, it screams pretty good. It's just a fun budget kind of drift car, basically. Yeah,
What's the red line?
The red line's
right
at
now?
75. We could have
Okay.
pushed it a little farther, but just keep it safe on the stock bottom end. This
Yeah.
bottom end, mind you, has 400,000 K on it. So we're revving it way high, like 1,500 more than it did from the factory.
Yeah.
And I've actually had this setup for like a whole season of drifting. It's been absolutely shit kicked, you know.
That's
It's-
ridiculous. Well, yeah, if the body is any indication of what this engine has been through, dude,
Yeah.
this thing is a champion.
Oh,
man.
definitely, yeah. 400,000 K, like some cars don't even make it to that, right?
No, not
And
at all.
I don't see this bottom end quitting out anytime soon. Like as long as you keep it filled with good oil,
Yep.
should be good, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so 171 wheel, it's not a lot, but this car's pretty lightweight, so you know, it's fun. It's a fun car to drive.
This is gonna be a little bit of a trip. I haven't driven a drift car since Atlanta, Georgia. Luckily, Colton's seat here is adjustable. Oh my God, you guys! It's so oh man, it really picks up. It picks up way above 5,000 RPM. Welded diffs are hilarious. Oh, this is great.
go now, but have no fear.
So as far as numbers for weight on this car, a factory 740 manual car will be about 3,100, maybe a little bit more depending on the trim level. So we got this car down to, I actually weighed it on a industrial scale at like a landfill, and it got down to 2,380 pounds. So how many, I don't know, what's math? That's like
kilograms?
700 pounds out of the car, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if we had like a pile of stuff that I took out, it'd probably be like, you know, super, super big.
That's huge. I mean, just to take 300 pounds out of a car.
Oh yeah, no,
is
it's
a lot of
it's
work.
a lot, yeah. If you take a look at this, see we got some mud here. So actually, if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel, we did a video where I took this up to a like a mountain road, and it was in the middle of the winter, it was super, super muddy on this road, but we did some crazy toge drifting, and this car was just absolutely covered in dirt and mud, so it was pretty grimy. Check that out on my channel if you guys want. It's got Bilstein HD shocks with like a QA1 aftermarket spring, and then just welded spring perches on it.
Okay, yeah.
That's a custom coilover,
Yeah.
Nothing serious.
Yeah. Kind of similar, if I remember correctly, to your old car.
That was cut springs.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
it
that was
a
just
little
straight bouncy
yeah.
cut springs. This is still kind of
Yeah.
bouncy. It's got cut springs in the rear. I put KYB adjustable gas shocks in it to
Okay.
try to make it a little better. Didn't really help as much as I would have liked.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
it's a little more suited for competition.
A little better, yeah.
Yeah.
It actually does pretty good up against like higher horsepower cars and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you can, you know, I guess partially driver and stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's what else we got? As far as the angle kit, so this is a Kaplanke quick steer roll center corrector. Here, actually, what I'll do is I'll turn the wheel.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely do that. Yeah. Yeah. All around here, you guys, all plexiglass on the windows.
If you take a look at here with the camera, so this is our quick steer roll center corrector from Kaplanke Racing.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially all it is it bolts to the bottom of your knuckle,
Right.
and it actually drops the tie rod pickup. Because if you know, like if you lower your car a lot and the tie rods go up like this so much, you're gonna get a lot of bump steer.
Mm-hmm.
So this like levels out the tie rod, and then it also gives you 3 choices of adjustment on the where you want it. So the closer in, more angle, it's more a quicker steering ratio essentially, right?
Making like a little hand adjustments on the way here.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. This is, eyeball alignment.
Yeah, eyeball alignment.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, like drift cars, like I haven't driven, a lot of drift cars. Obviously, you have a lot more experience than me, but as far as I know from everybody I've talked to, it's all about feel.
It is, yeah.
You know, like once you're out there, somebody could tell you, oh, you need this amount of toe or caster. You're like, well, for this and this track and this style of driving,
Yeah,
it might
exactly.
not work as well.
That's right. And I find this like driver experience, like you can hop in any car, and if you have enough laps on the track with it, you can kind of get the hang of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some cars are a little tough, like a stock LS400 or something like
Right,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
But it's just like the more seat time, the better, pretty much. And yeah, even though this car isn't perfect, I can drive it pretty well because I've had a lot of seat time in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wait, did you do these graphics on here?
that's another thing I should mention. That actually Miss Huff did that. So
No shit,
this car
really?
came with the graphics, yeah.
Okay, that is amazing, man.
Yeah, so that's
really cool.
That's that was part of the reason why I was like, okay, let's do a little build with this car, because it already had a bit of a character to it.
Yeah.
It was like Miss Huff, and it had these graphics, and it was just kind of unique, I guess. I don't know.
You found this local?
It was in Kelowna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That sounds like a Kelowna car.
Definitely,
So-
yeah. Yeah.
And a side pipe here too.
And another thing that made this car so a lot more spirited and more fun to drive was a 410 rear end ratio.
Oh yeah.
So
okay, cool.
yeah, because we had all that extra RPM and stuff, right? We got the same amount of top speed, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
but way more acceleration.
Yeah.
The factory diff ratio in this car was a 331, so that's really high. And then swapping to the 410 was just miles.
That's
difference.
a huge difference.
Huge difference, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty simple build.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's a lot of, you got to get the basics. Like you need a welded diff.
Yep.
If you're gonna take it seriously,
Oh yeah.
And you need enough power
Enough power, yeah.
to have fun, but especially if it's like your first or second drift car, you don't want 500 horsepower.
You don't want 500 horsepower. And I always say to people, like, if you learn in a low horsepower car, you have to choose your line a lot more specific, right? Because if you don't pick the right line and you lose too much speed, then you lose the drift.
Yes.
Whereas in a high horsepower car, you can just get back on the throttle, and it's gonna light them up from wherever you are.
So if somebody watching wanted to build a Volvo like this, how much could you build like a driftable Volvo for?
Well, you see, the problem is I made them slightly more popular, so the price is going up.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it, to be honest.
No, for sure. They've kind of
Yeah.
gone up in bit of price, like the whole drift lifts thing. you know,
Right,
yeah. But
Cop
like,
your Volvo Pilsner shirt.
yeah, check it out, Volvo Drift Pilsner, 100% Giver Bud, only sold in a 2.3 liter can, so you know you're gonna get real turned up, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah, as far as like, if you wanted to build one of these, like I said, you can get on the track and you can drift a non-turbo manual 740, and you can pick them up for like, you know, anywhere from 500 to $1,000 kind of thing.
Right.
They're getting more scarce. Like, it's really hard to find these with a manual transmission nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like you can be on the track sliding reliably and having fun for like under $1,500 every time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you know,
That's
it's
amazing.
budget fun. That's kind of the whole. That's the whole reason I got into Volvos, was budget fun.
Yeah. That was wicked.
Hell yeah, dude. It's loud, eh?
Oh, it's super loud.
You got a face full of exhaust, I bet.
Yep, that last shot looks sick though.
Oh yeah.
You guys go check out Colton's channel. Go check out his Instagram. Support Canadian content.
Yeah. Support Canadian epic Volvo drift.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure a lot of you guys from Sweden already know Colton. Thanks for coming out, bro.
Thanks for having me, Marcus.
I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man. That was a real good time.
We'll have to do a bunch of stuff in the future too.
Definitely.
Oh, dude, I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
All right.
Marcus is gonna get a drift car.
Oh yeah, at some point. And when I do, we'll take it to Post Haste, we'll do some tuning.
Mint.
And
Yeah.
we'll come back here and you'll teach me how to drift.
Ssounds good, man. Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Sounds like a plan.
See you next time, dude.
Cool, yeah, sounds good.